Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
National Farm Machinery Show, we are here to catch up with a friend of the podcast, longtime partner, and we're going to get some updated information from Geringhoff. But who better, Corey, than to share what's working in agriculture with us than Bill Dickhout. Welcome. How's Bill doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And remind our listeners, you are in the U.S. part of the time?
Correct. So I live in Germany.
Okay.
I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born in Illinois, raised in the cornfields close to Shabansk, Illinois, small town. Great uncle was even the mayor of the town. Moved to Tennessee when I was 11, 12 years old. Went to school in Tennessee, high school in Tennessee, college in Kentucky. Moved to Germany to do a tradesmanship, an apprenticeship as a tool and die maker. So the traditional German tool and die maker. So I actually learned how to make precision parts with my hands, using a saw, using a file, using a chisel.
We'll have to have a conversation off the mics about that. We got a question.
Yeah, we can do that, definitely. Then I moved back to the States with my wife and daughter. My wife is German. Worked for the family company for a couple of years, moved back to Germany and got into a sales position. And then in 2008, I started working for Geringhoff, components, parts, manufacturing. And that was the first time I worked for Geringhoff. Then worked for an American company for a number of years. Okay. And in 2018, Geringhoff approached me and asked me if I could come back. They had a gap in their leadership team. And I assumed the role of Chief Operating Officer. At that time, I was also completing my MBA from a Swiss university, an Austrian university. And in 2019, I assumed the additional role of President for the United States organization to sort of tie in all of the different disciplines that we have going on. Okay. So it's all a part of the whole. Right, so everything fits together.
You know, we've probably talked to you. Is this our fourth time?
I believe so, yes.
And I don't know if we had gotten all of that out the first three times.
No?
Well, I'm warming up, you see.
Hitting stride.
I love that. So what would you say right now would be the state of the business? How's Geringhoff doing in the current environment?
Well, it's still a dynamic environment, so I still don't think that we're fully out of the crisis. It's a high demand market. We've been able to increase our output while still maintaining our quality and standing behind our equipment. But still the challenges are there. So from manning, also from materials and components, there are some new things that come up every day. And from a plan A, you have to have a plan B. When the plan B doesn't work out, then you have to go to plan C, and that's a part of the day-to-day business. And that you can only do that if you've got good folks working on the right things, and the folks have competency to find their way and stay agile in this uncertain environment.
And Corey Geringhoff, head of the class, no matter the crop.
Yep.
Definitely is going to draw demand. So what's been the response to the increased demand?
Well, building machines for our customers is our purpose. So we have to get the manning, we have to get the materials together to build the machines for the customers. And also to satisfy the demand. If we can do it right every time, I don't know, but we'll do our very best to get it right. But what have we been doing? We've been building out our team. So we're going to start on a second shift in our facility here in St. Cloud.
A second shift?
Yes.
St. Cloud, that's U.S.
That's the U.S. side. Also on the German side, we're also building out the team. We've probably doubled our team in Germany over the past 2 years. And in the States, probably going to triple it.
How are you sourcing labor in a market that's so hard to find?
Well, that's also been a challenge, but you have to stick at it, right? You have to keep on plugging away, and you can't give up. And we also approach that in a interdisciplinary way, because it's not just HR get us some folks, right? So it's also our sales director, Sam. He's also involved deeply in our meetings. What can we do to create buzz for Geringhoff, that the people understand that Geringhoff is not just a job, but maybe a career?
Yeah.
And instead of maybe looking at the side of the road and seeing a UPS driver and saying, I want to be a UPS driver, and seeing the side of the road and seeing a combine with a Geringhoff head on it, I'd like to be involved in that type of industry. So adding value, that's maybe above and beyond than just the paycheck.
It's a laborer's market, right? Like they're not just going to come there for a big paycheck, right? It must be a culture thing.
Yeah, and we've got a lot to offer. But also on our pay, we've got a pay for skills type system where we actually have the different jobs and we honor what the work is, right? And the culture.
Right.
We're very open. We provide the information. We let the folks know what's going on the best that we can. But, it's an imperfect science because it's a social system. It's working with other people. And to do it successfully, you got to do the best you can and that the other folks know that you're doing the best you can.
And that, though, like you said, stems from the demand for the product. And obviously, that's because the quality has been there and the quality is going to continue to improve. There's been a lot of cool things that you guys have worked on already, and I still love your folding corn heads.
Yeah.
And, when we got to run our lengthy campaigns, staying up on the technology. So what else what's coming down the pipe? What are we continuing to improve?
Well, we try to improve a little bit every day on everything that we do. That's one of the core pillars that we strive to. But we talked a little bit about at the show in Iowa, our AFT head. So that's the articulated flexible head. So it's a corn head that's basically articulated in the middle, and you've got a left wing and a right wing. And then that follows the ground. So if you've got really hilly territory, you can go with a 16-row articulated head and don't have to clean up the valleys with an 8-row afterwards.
Makes a lot of sense.
So that we're doing the next step, and it's basically our customers have challenged us. They see the head at the show and they say, you know what, that's a nice head, but can you also make it folded?
Right.
So we're making it folded.
Wow.
What are you calling that?
Not only will it flex,
Yeah.
pivot.
In the middle, so articulated in the middle. So it's going to be an AFT.
AFT
Folding head.
stands for articulated folding.
Adaptive Flex Technology.
Adaptive.
You're making up words over there, Corey.
Yeah, I can make it up.
Nice try. I like the way you think.
All right, that makes sense. But so I'm looking at this from this. I sell seed, right? So on hilly ground, customers always want a tall hybrid, right? Which is susceptible to wind because you can't get the platform or the corn head down low enough to get the ears. Now you can. So maybe you don't have to get that tall hybrid that's susceptible to wind.
Right.
Think of that.
It can
They're
go
helping
beyond.
you're helping on the agronomy side of things, even though you're an equipment manufacturer.
Well, you continue to talk agronomy. We know that some of your hybrids, Corey, present a lot of residual issues.
yeah,
Big corn yields means
a lot of
a
stover.
lot of stuff to deal with. But you guys help with that too.
Yeah, we've got multiple residue management systems, depending on what you need. We've got just the regular snapping rolls that'll crimp it up and throw it on the ground, all the way up to a rotodisc with a horizontal blade, so and everything in between. Our XDC, that's also a snapping roll, but it cuts it up in smaller pieces, also for no-till. And our rotodisc, and then also our snapping roll with the sling blade. Yeah. So basically five different residue management systems, depending upon what your field is like and what the way that you do your tilling as well.
That's why it comes back to head of the class, no matter the crop, no matter the situation.
Yeah,
you might have to work in the marketing department and expand that to just no matter the situation.
Well, everybody needs their challenges. They'll come from time to time. So, but really, the residue management is one thing. And what's your combine? We can hook it up to every combine.
You literally can. You're on the Nexat.
Correct. And across the world.
Right.
All the major brands. And we like to think that we make the combines run better. Mm-hmm. So that's also the question, the combine, and then the residue management, and then what row width spacing do you want from 15-inch all the way to 60-inch, and pretty much everything in between that could be a standard, and then also folder, rigid, and then how many rows do you want?
Right.
Do you want it? Are you a seed operation? Want 2-row,
Yeah.
or do you need something that's a 32-row on a small spacing?
Because what is that on the next set? It's 50 feet.
20 row, I believe, is what Emma said.
Well, it's a 20-row 30-inch or a 30-row 20-inch.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that
there's
would make
both.
sense. Yeah.
Which is not a typical number of rows. for a regular corn head.
Well, a lot of times the row is going to be dependent upon the planter, right?
Yep.
So how do you want to plant that you do half of that or some denominator thereof?
Right. So as we look through trade show season, do you guys travel and hit a lot of them, or is National Farm Machinery Show your spectacle?
Well, we've got National Farm Machinery Show is very important, I think, for the entire ag community because that's where a lot of people show what's new for the year, and there's also a lot of folks here that are related to the farm, maybe not directly a producer, but related to the farming industry. So there's a lot to see. The next show is going to be Commodity Classic, but we're also going to be at the Farm Progress and a number of other territory shows. Nice. So we've got a lot of shows like the Gin Show. Yep. A lot of different shows that are going on that may be smaller, and sometimes we'll have maybe just one head. Sometimes we may just have displays as well. Right. But to create the presence in the marketplace.
Okay. Branding.
But people should come find you and look up and touch and feel and see what the technology is all about.
Exactly, and we've got our sales folks are there. They're very knowledgeable, and we also have our product support techs.
Nice.
And if there's questions about maintenance or just questions about your equipment, they're there to ask the question and give a good answer. Because there are a lot of things about the head where you might have bought a used head, right? And you don't really know everything about it, but you can ask our guys, and they'll show you the important points and go through that with you.
Great. This is good.
I've got one question.
Fire away.
I think I put you on the spot last time. If I ordered a corn head right now, when am I getting it?
To harvest.
Before harvest?
To harvest.
To harvest. Okay. I see how that
so
is.
before you harvest. So that's going to be tricky because we understand that we've got customers that have needs. We also understand that some of the needs might even be higher than other needs. That some folks are in a bind, right?
Yeah.
So we always try to do our best to get the folks what they need to the time that they need it. But we also don't say you're going to get it in June when we know that that's not going to be the case. We also are not going to oversell ourselves either.
Yep.
It's always a little bit tricky line, but we have to be honest to the marketplace because that's really the only way to have a good relationship and a long relationship. And the farmer is also family business, just like Geringhoff. And Geringhoff is in the 5th generation, and there's a reason for that. And it's not because we make our customers angry at us. Okay, so we try to take care of everybody the best that we can and find the proper balance.
No, absolutely. No, it makes a lot of sense. If listeners want to track you guys down and look at the products that you have, what is the best way for them to look you up?
The website, www.Geringhoff. So look us up there. We're also on social media. We're also at the shows. We also have a lot of our dealers. Our dealers have generally product on their lot, and they'll be able to give the customer a very good idea of what our products can do.
Awesome. This has been a pleasure. We appreciate you taking the time to stop by for the 4th time and give us an update.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Tanner, thank you. Corey, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.